welcome to the fair. And I know Phil told you that he has with him the lieutenant governors of Minnesota and Alaska. And I want to thank them for bringing this great cool weather to the fair. This is a fall day in Neshoba County. I've been joined by Marcia, my bride of 38 years, and I'm glad that she's wherever she went again today. Marcia, stand up. Not easy for a guy like me to get a trophy wife like that. Of course, the fair's fun, and lots of silly stuff gets said here at the podium at the fair. I understand yesterday the Attorney General implied that I was starting a war with the Choctaws, that I'm anti-Indian. You know, my great uncle, Greenwood LaFleur, would have found that kind of funny since he was the chief of the Choctaws 175 years ago. I think Chief Philip Martin would have found that to be kind of funny too, as much as we work together on behalf of Mississippians, including Choctaw Mississippians. You know, when Chief Martin was the chief, they built the Silver Star and the Golden Moon. And when they did it, every member of the tribe got to vote on it. There was a tribal vote on the Silver Star and a tribal vote on the Golden Moon. And as somebody that believes in the self-determination for the Choctaws and their self-control, I think they ought to have a tribal vote on this slot parlor down in Jones County. When the tribal council is so closely divided that the vote is 8-7 to go forward with an $18 million investment of the tribe's money, then I believe Philip Martin was right for the first two casinos, and that he would be right for this casino and allow the whole tribe to vote on whether to go forward with this or not. You know, my job is to represent the best interests of all Mississippians. That's what you elect a governor to do. And I will tell you, a slot parlor in a metal building with no restaurant on a minor 2-lane county road with no sewage treatment and insufficient water supply is not in the best interest of any Mississippians. Now, more important to Mississippi and all of us is what's been happening in the Gulf. And I'm pleased to tell you that for nearly 2 weeks, we haven't had any oil coming out of the BP well in the Gulf. We expect that the well will be permanently shut in another 2 or 3 weeks. On the coast, I want to say what a great job the Department of Marine Resources, the Department of Environmental Quality, Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks, MEMA, and the National Guard have done, along with all the local first responders. While you see on television the terrible situation in Louisiana, we have been blessed that we haven't had anything like that here. However, when we have had intrusions of oil, our guys have been right there, getting it cleaned up within 24 hours. We've actually, of the 80 miles of coastline, we closed 3 miles of beach for 48 hours. Otherwise, our people were right there, got the job done. The problem, of course, is that the people who watch television think that the whole Gulf is ankle deep in oil. That that Mississippi's beaches and waters mean that you shouldn't come. So the disaster for us has been thus far less a physical disaster than a physical disaster. Our economy's been hurt because the tourist business on the coast has taken about a 40% hit from this. Now the good news is BP is going to pay for that. BP is the responsible party. They're responsible for paying for all the damages, all the cleanup, all the economic damages, including losses to the state. And thus far they have not flinched. They have paid when called on, said they're going to pay. We expect them to pay, and to pay every penny of every rightful claim in Mississippi. And that'll put it behind us, except for one thing. If the president's moratorium of drilling offshore sticks, that's going to be the worst economic damage done not only to Mississippi and the Gulf South, but to the whole country. You know, in the 50 years since the four Gulf states, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, first allowed offshore drilling, more than 30,000 oil wells have been drilled in the Gulf of Mexico. This is the first time anything like this has ever happened. And to close down the Gulf of Mexico to oil drilling is very, very short-sighted and awfully poor policy. Do you know that 30% of the petroleum produced in the United States last year came out of the Gulf of Mexico? That 25% of the oil produced in the United States was deep water Gulf of Mexico production, just what the president's trying to stop. All of my adult life, the policy of our country under Democrats and Republicans has been to reduce foreign imports, to reduce our reliance on foreign oil, yet this moratorium is going to mean we have to increase our dependence on foreign oil, which is not only bad for our national security and our energy security, but it's going to drive up prices. I remember in September 2008, the now Secretary of Energy, Stephen Chu, was a college professor. He made a speech in California when he said, what we really need in the United States is to get the price of gasoline, up to what it is in Europe, $6, $8, $9 a gallon. Well, that may be what they need in California, but it ain't what we need in Mississippi. But this moratorium will do it if it stays in effect.